Sarvopanishad Gavo Dogda Gopalanandana Parthavatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Maha. The entire body of the Upanishads is like a cow, and the milker of this cow is Sri Krishna. Arjuna is the calf. People of purified intellect are the drinkers of this milk, and the milk itself is the supreme essence of the Vedas, which is immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that's the song of God. We are on chapter 2, verse 31. Swadharmam apicha veksha navikampitum arhasi dharmadhi yuddhat shreyo niyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. Even considering your own duty, you should not waver. Since for a Kshatriya, that's for a person who's a warrior, there is no other means conducive to bliss than a righteous battle, righteous war. So, this 31st verse is a kind of a departure from the Lord's earlier arguments, spoken from the highest standpoint of nobody ever dies and nobody is ever born. So from the highest standpoint, there is no death and there is no birth. And he tried to explain to Arjuna that you don't have to worry about slaying these people. There's no. So it has been a little difficult for Arjuna because he was faced with a crisis of having to kill, in battle of course, his grandfather, his teacher, and all his cousins, his brothers and friends. So he gets, you can say, a dose of very high Vedanta philosophy. Now here what Sri Krishna does is tries to kind of come down a little and is speaking of the duties of a person. And the word uses Swadharma, one's own duties. So even if you consider your own duties, aveksha is by examining, by considering one's own duties. Now, what is this one's own duties? If you see this in the context, then we'll be able to explain it much easily. Because the next 3 or 4 verses speak in this same strain. You ought to do your duty. Okay. Now the word used is one's own duty. Yeah, one's own duty. We know what's one's own duty. We know what's a duty. Okay. But then, apart from one's own duties, we know there is a kind of a general duty as a human being. We've got to be, behave like a human being. And that is incumbent on everyone. So, in the old days, what happens is, see this external world, we just cannot make sense out of it. It's just impossible to make sense of. Things happen which you have not foreseen, you have not calculated, and we try to push it on God's will or this or that, it's chance, things combine. We simply cannot predict what's going to happen tomorrow or even late tonight. There's a kind of a darkness, a kind of a chaos that covers everything. To make sense, you cannot live in a chaotic situation. You cannot live in chaos. To make sense of this and to find your own place in this world, people had designed the forms of rituals or duties. It makes you hold on to certain things, and then for you, these things make sense. And then slowly you will find the darkness disappearing. You can proceed holding on to work. Work is a very powerful factor. Now, as you keep on proceeding, you will have to first follow certain dictates. That is, don't injure anyone, don't lie, don't steal, don't this and don't that. And it has to become a part of you. That's called Dharma. Dharma is not, it's translated religion. It's not religion really. Dharma is that which holds things together. Yeah, religion also holds things together. Anything that holds you together is called Dharma. Dharyate dharma iti ahu. Dharma dharayate praja. Dharma holds all beings together, societies and clans and races, individuals. It forms a kind of a, because in a group you can exhibit your greatest strength, your greatest talents. You cannot sit down on a mountain and say, I am the greatest singer in the world, and he keeps on singing. You can't do that. You'll have to come down here and then sing. And then people will say, wow, this is a good singer. Yeah, fine. So, there is something called, that which holds everything together, that is called Dharma. There are another two higher aspects of this Dharma. What is that? See, when we chant Sri Ramakrishna's hymn, one of the hymns, the first line of the hymn is Om Ring Ritam. Om, that's the truth, the absolute truth denoted by the sound Om. Ring is when that truth is now slowly crystallizing. That's a mystic syllable. And Ritam. Now, this Ritam is the cosmic order. I was talking about chaos. From chaos comes kind of order, cosmic order. In almost all the religions, you will find in the beginning, the Spirit of the Lord moved on the waters. There was darkness, there was chaos. And then light emerged. All these things. It's designed to show you there is a creative process that taking things from chaos and bringing them into order. That's called the cosmos and chaos. These are two old words. Because human life has to be, you can say, ordered. Society has to be ordered. You just simply cannot have a disorder. When people sitting down and they're saying they're in society and they have a disordered mind, they are outside the society. They are outside their own minds. They are outside the whole universe. They are in a different chaotic world. Everything has order. So that's called the rhythm, the cosmic order. That comes as truth, satyam. Existence. Existence has to be made into a kind of a systematic, you can say, whole. And then from that is condensed dharmam. And then is further condensed into swadharmam. So what happens is when you are performing your own duties, you are actually connected with the whole. You might be doing your duties quietly in the garden. Nobody knows. Nobody has seen you. But you are actually part of the whole. And that's what the Bhagavad Gita will later say. It's the whole wheel of Brahman. And in that, all these souls are embedded in it, and we are working. Our work affects the others. Other people's work affects us. It's a massive, massive ordered existence. Nothing is disordered existence. Yes, everything. It's not only human beings. From the lowest beings to the highest gods and beings and celestials, they are all in this giant wheel of existence. What gives us a kind of a stability? This ritam, satyam, dharmam. That's the reason why I'm saying don't go against the established order of things. Because you are going to go into chaos, and you might lead others also into chaos. When a person is thinking erratically, mind has become disorganized, that person gets into chaos. He sees everything as chaotic. He's seeing everything as evil and bad and ugly. A person, when he or she has an ordered mind, see everything as beauty and love and light and that joy, that you can say impulse to live and share that life, that comes. This is the rationale behind the Lord telling Arjuna, you follow your own duty. You are a warrior, you have come here to fight, you better stand here and fight. Don't run away like a coward. And if you do, you will incur sin. It's better to stand up and fight and die. We'll see some of these later arguments that Sri Krishna gives. So, he is not giving arguments about the Atman, the indestructibility, the eternality of the Atman. He's just talking about work and work as duty. Each one comes with a particular duty. Yes. Duty to whom? To the world. Really? I have no duty. Who said so? The very embodiment states that you are now duty bound. You have to return what you have received. Keep on. So as we keep on working our own duties, the duties allotted to us by birth, by station of life, by education, by talents, whatever, even nationality and all these things, we have found a niche here in this existence. And now we need to keep on working. That becomes your nature. It's a swabhav. Swa, one's own, bhav, one's own existence. What's your existence? I don't know. What is existence? You have not worked and you have not discovered what's your nature. So that's the reason why it's from Swadharma, one's own duties, comes one's own nature, Swabhava. Yes. It's wonderful. These concepts are so deep. I'm just kind of going through them very quickly. It's like, suppose a person who's practiced medicine, and that person has practiced medicine for years and years and years and years. And you don't really know that that person has been talking to you, and that person also keeps on just interacting on a kind of a very superficial level. The moment you say, oh, you see, I've got a kind of a stomachache, immediately all the medical knowledge and practices, everything will come up. Why? He or she has laid down those impressions, that knowledge through practice. I might not know she's an artist. Okay, I was just talking with her, and suddenly, oh wow, wonderful. So we should not judge people on the superficial level, never. That's what the world does. A person should be judged according to that duties, that work, that knowledge that person has acquired, has laid down inch by inch for years and years and years through a discipline. After that person has laid down that discipline, it acts as a kind of a buffer against every form of evil. You are this, you'll become unshakable. This is what is called character, and this is what is called the first basis of spiritual life, or any life for that matter. So that's why one's own duties, Swadharma, leads to one's own nature, Swabhava. Yes, it's quite a... And like I said, you are now connected to the whole. So from that chaos, there is a kind of a inkling of order coming. Everything is moving out in a kind of a set pattern. That's called rhythm. That is Satyam. It's like, the analogy is given like the sun and its rays, they are inseparable. So rhythm and Satyam are inseparable. That's why Swami Vivekananda, when he wrote Om, Ring, Rhythm, how you can write books and books and books on just those first three words. So, and that becomes Dharmam. That becomes the generalized order for human beings all over the world. You are a human being because you have a human body. You have to follow your, you can say, dictates or your nature as a human being. You cannot behave like a god. You're not a god yet, not in this life. So you have to follow the dictates of a human being. You cannot behave like an animal, or you can behave like a devil. You've got to behave like a human being. And now, I'll leave some time later for your questions. And then after that, in this whole, you can say, sea of unwritten laws and written laws in the constitutions and this and that and declaration of rights and whatever, you have your own duty, Swadharmam. This is what is meant by Arjuna being told by Sri Krishna, considering your own duties, Swadharmam api chave, you should not waver, na vikampitam harase. You should not waver. You should be steady. You should not deliberate, is this right or is it wrong? No, that's what I've been doing all my life. That's what I've been trained for since my childhood. And they were trained as warriors since their childhood. Why should you now hesitate? Why should you kind of go to the process of horripilation and doubt and despair? No. This is the idea. And then he says, since for a Kshatriya, that is, since for a warrior, there is no other means conducive to bliss than a righteous battle. Here it is. Dharmad hi yuddhat shreyo anyat kshatriyasya na vidyati. There is nothing. Because this opportunity has come to us, to at least Arjuna. Yeah, now you go and fight. All these years you did fighting, and you can say, you had a reputation of being one of the great warriors. Now is the test. So this opportunity has come before you. Because now he had to fight amongst equals. His own brother, whom he did not know, Karna, his grandfather, who had said, I am going to kill 10,000 warriors every day. His teacher, Dronacharya, whom he learned the science of warfare, standing there. Brothers, they're equal in stature with him. Now is the test. So, okay, if you die, so what if you die doing your duty? So what? What's that to you? What's the big thing about it? Righteousness, duty is above life. What's the use of living a small life otherwise? First you come, duty. When the general says advance, he knows those guys in the front are going to get killed, most of them. He knows it. Yeah, but he has to give the order, advance. Saying, no, my children, come here, sit down with me. Let's have a coffee and keep quiet and let's sing and dance. No, we can't do that. So, duty is above even your life. When you can hold your life even as secondary to what you are supposed to do, then you have attained, they say, heaven. Oh yes, because you have laid down this character, this duties over sometimes lifetimes. Many times you have come and you have gone. It doesn't matter. But what you are laying down as duties is going to help you now and later and later and later and later in the future. So that's the reason why he says, even considering your own duty, you should not waver. So it's quite a long, you can say, explanation. So we take the next, because whatever objections that Arjuna had given, they are my friends, this and that, they are all now dismissed by the Lord. This is what it is. Why should, then you have another, you can say, argument. See, when you are going to be attacked by someone, you can kill that person in self-defense. Yes. These people, they had tried to poison these brothers. They tried to burn down their own house. They tried to kill them by, you can say, other means, by weapons and all this. They had done all this. These were felons. They were subject to felony. They were criminals. And the argument is, the person comes to you, don't say, okay, kill me. You've got to put up a fight at least. Okay? And that's what. You have to put up a fight. Don't say, no, you can kill me. Don't do that. So, self-defense is permissible. And the duties of a warrior are non-retreat from battle, protection of the people, and service to the holy people are the best means to bliss for a warrior. Each one had, if the wicked would have taken over, then there wouldn't have been any kind of society then. All the good people would have been killed. So the next verse is verse 32. Yadrichaya chopapannam svargadvaramapavritam sukina kshatriya partha labante yuddhamidrisham. Yeah, he's saying, so, O son of Pritha, that is Arjuna, O Arjuna, happy are the warriors, happy are the Kshatriyas who come across this kind of battle, which verily presents itself unsought for, and which is an open gate to heaven. There you are. So, for those who die in battle, they get a quick exit from here and a quick entry there. But those who will, suppose I perform a big sacrifice, in the old days it's called a Jyotishtoma. Swarga kamo agnishtoma juhuyad. Agnihotra juhuyad. So, if you desire heaven, Swarga kama, you perform the Agnihotra sacrifice. It's a fire sacrifice. Yeah. It was, where do you want to go? I want to go there. Okay, you perform this, you can go there. Nothing mysterious about it. It is just work. Afterwards, you're saying, oh, there's nothing, I'm not sure. No, you perfect the sacrifice, you'll go there. If you want to go there, you can go there. So if I perform a sacrifice that is going to lead me to the higher realms, but I will have to wait till this body falls off, and only then I can attain to those realms. While a warrior can attain it immediately. That's why he's saying. Now there are few things he's saying. Yadrichaya chopan, like the open doors of heaven, they are kind of welcoming you through this opportunity that has presented itself to you. How? Yes, we do not even know how things present themselves to us. There is, of course, an explanation to the law of karma. You have worked, or you have thought about it, you have meditated upon it, and you have forgotten that thing. Those results have come once again, and you reap the results. This is a kind of, we can make sense out of that chaotic situation. But there are many things which are not in our hands at all. It's the hands of who? Of God? Of nature? Yes, you can say these things. Nature does not listen to you. You can make sense out of nature through your work and through your duties. But nature is so powerful and so complex. We think, oh, yes, food and sleep, these are the two things that engage human beings. It's very simple, isn't it? Yeah. The whole physiological processes of food and hunger and thirst and sleep is so complex. We are still trying to understand it. I don't know how many millions of years it will take. It's so complex. And that's nature working. We find, oh, I'm hungry. Yeah. You don't see all those processes down below that went about. So, even in the mind, there are many processes that we are not even aware of. We see something else like anger or hatred or greed, and it's like. But these are the things that engage a human body. More than half the person's lifetime is spent in sleep and food, and seeking food, eating food, digesting food, and all these things. And what do we know? We know nothing about it. We go around and think, we know this, we know that. Yeah, really? Find out what you know about just a leaf. There is no end to that knowledge. Nothing. So, nature is not going to keep quiet and say, oh, this guy is coming with a magnifying glass or the microscope. He's trying to, delude you and delude you. Finally, everybody is saying, now we have discovered the very basis of matter, the atoms. Yes. And after some time, oh, really? No. There's something more to it. And there's something more and more and more and more and more. It's going on and on and on. Where does it end? Nature is taking us in a kind of a circle round and deluding us. She is not going to listen to you. Something's happened, we don't even know why. This opportunity has come. And now, take it up. Yeah, and what? This opportunity. They are the warriors who come across this kind of battle, which verily presents itself unsought for. There have been, why did this battle come? See, they say, before the actual battle, it involves death and killing and so many problems. You try all the other means in order to avoid war. And they had done that. They had tried dissension, they had tried treaty, they had tried everything by gifts and this and that. They tried to pacify the warring parties, but nothing. This was the last recourse, and they had to do it now. Now running away was just impossible. So all this whole life, this battle was fought amongst the brothers. They were grown up and they were kings and all that. But the enmity and the jealousy and the hatred was there in the very beginning, even when they were children. Yes, someone was better than me and then I tried to pull him down. So it was a kind of a slow, you can say, rolling of these events that are snowballing into something big. It's not just, things don't happen just suddenly. Oh, the door has opened. No, the door does not open. It takes a long time. Everything. So this has it's an opportune moment for you. Take it up. That's what he's saying. O son of Pritha, that is, O Arjuna, happy are the warriors who come across this kind of battle, which verily presents itself unsought for, and which is an open gate to heaven. Later on he'll say, if you win, you get a kingdom, it's fine with you. And if you die, you'll go to heaven. What's your problem? I say, you're a winner on both sides, this side or that side. And besides, forget the rewards, either kingdom or heaven or whatever. But you yourself have got this reputation of being righteous. You suddenly discard that and become something else. A police officer is supposed to protect. Suppose the police officer himself or herself gets into crime, then that's a kind of a Janus double-faced. He presents one thing like this as an honest person, and behind that is a dishonest. So that contradiction is there in people. We are supposed to be this, and we are not that 100%. We have a backsliding, we have our weaknesses. Here is saying, don't be contradictory in your personality, in your duties, just be straightforward. There should be no division in your mind. Oh, this is good. I make a quick buck, that's okay. No, you can't make a quick buck. Yes. Oh, you see everybody doing it. Oh, really? Now you're blaming blaming the whole world. Everybody does it. Oh. So these are all rationalizations of your own duplicacy. You are a duplicate person. You're a contradictory person. You have not settled down to your own identity based on your work. They simply, and you see what happens is, one day or the other, those deeds will come out. If you do good deeds, they also will come out. If you do bad deeds, they also will come out. Maybe 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that guy is, oh, he was like this. There you see. You cannot hide anything for long. So, whatever we have, these contradictions in our personality need to be discarded. You just be this. I am this person and I'm going to stick to being this person. You keep on working on art and that. You keep on working. Maybe you get a recognition in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years. No, it does not matter. You're doing it for art. No. You make it for a quick buck and then you lose your very soul. You do it for your soul. Okay. That's what. So, certain things present themselves to us. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes neutral. When a good opportunity comes, take it up. Should I take it or no? No. Hey, do it. So this is what the Lord is trying to make his disciple Arjuna understand. Say, this is an opportunity to get to heaven. It's like the doors of heaven are open. No, they say at certain times of the year, saying you should not do this and that and this and that. Why? Because the doors to Yamalok, that's a death, are open, and people will die. They will simply go towards it. There are certain, you can say, these people have been careful in what time you die and when you die or where you die, all these things. They made it a kind of a great science. A year, the opportunity has come. This year will lead you there. Okay. The next verse. (33). Now he is kind of putting the iron in his, you can say, his voice here. 33. On the other hand, Atha, if you will not undertake this righteous battle, then, forsaking your own duty and fame, you will incur sin. This is what it is. Yeah. Now he is tightening the screws. You mean to say you're not going to do it? You're not going to do it? You will have to do it. Telling the reason why you have to do it. On the other hand, chetomimam dharmam sangramam na karishyasi tatah swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. You will incur demerit, you will incur sin if you do not fight this battle. Why? Because you are forsaking your duty. You are forsaking your identity. You are forsaking your personality. You are forsaking your existence. Your very existence depends on your work. As I said, Ritam and Satyam and Dharmam and Swadharmam. This whole line, you're connected with the whole. You mean you just discard things like that? No. So you're saying, if you will not undertake this righteous battle here, now this righteous battle, suppose it's not a righteous battle. That's a different thing. But in this case, this opportunity has come. Suppose, just for example, America would not have entered the Second World War. Just. What would have happened? America would have said, okay, fine, you fight, Europe is too far away from us. Why should we bother? You get the hell out of it. We'll take it easy. What would have happened? You know what would have happened. The madness and the killing would continue, it would come right here. So it's better to stop a thing in the bud, nip it in the bud, as they say. Kill it out, exterminate it. And for that, people who are not really involved in that politics and in that situation have to go and lay down their lives, so that the world will become a little more sane, a little more easy, a little more better. So that's not my war, that's not your war, that's okay, but you've got to do it for others. That's the rationale. So, in this context, we can say, yes, this was right. In case the enemies of Arjuna, they would have won this battle, if these people the brothers would have run away, a whole thing would become chaos. Rape and murder and pillage and desecration and the works. What do you want? This or something like this? You've got to sacrifice, fine, do it through this path of duty. Many people say, no, war is bad. Yes, war is a disease of civilization. And it has been there with us for all these thousands and thousands. As we keep on maturing, growing, we hope that these wars, this madness disappears from human civilization. And for that, until and unless we build a civilization that is based on religion and spirituality, not religion. People have been basing their religion, their civilization on religion. We've seen so many of them. We'll do it for Christ and do it for the cross, and do it for the crescent, do it for this, do it for that, and see how we are killing each other. Yes, people used to take their religious symbols in one hand and fire in another hand. And we have to, as civilized people, we'll have to base our civilization on the spirit, on the divinity of human beings. Then this madness called wars will stop. Otherwise, it will keep on going, because there will always be the predator and the prey, the exploiter and the exploited. There will always be those who will take more from those who have less, and this will go on. So, when the scale tips, war is inevitable. Why should war happen? These are things that maybe we will outgrow it in a few years. We hope to. So, they say, if you want peace, prepare for war. I think one of your presidents said, if you want peace, prepare for war. What is this? That's not peace. If you want peace, believe yourself as this immortal soul, and everyone are that. That is real peace. So here he says, you will incur sin. On the other hand, if you do not undertake this righteous battle, then forsaking your own duty and fame, you will incur sin. There. You better do it now. You know, the Lord himself, he was born in a warrior class. But he said, I will not take up any weapons. So here it was. My armies can be taken by anyone else. So Arjuna's cousins, they said, okay, fine, we'll take his armies, and besides, he is not going to take up any weapons. He'll just be a mere charioteer. So they had a choice between, can we take the Lord who is without weapons or his armies? So any sensible person will take, yes, we want the armies. We don't want the Lord. Why the Lord is without weapons and without unarmed. But Arjuna chose this. No, I want the Lord on my side, even without weapons. And why should a Lord have weapons? And his choice was correct. He chose correctly. So we always need to have the Lord on our side. Don't go for power and pelf and you can say this exploitation. Better to have the Lord on our side. So when Arjuna has chosen to have the Lord unarmed there, will only be riding his chariot, Arjuna's chariot. Imagine. He had confidence that with the Lord on our side, we will win. And Arjuna was a little, you can say, acting difficult. So the Lord is saying, do it now, here, press it. And after this, then we see him obeying each and every dictate of the device. So, kind of giving him the shivers. If you don't fight, and that's the worst thing that can happen. You'll go to hell. Really? What did I do? Oh, you never prayed today, you'll go to hell. No, you don't need to frighten a person because of this. Yeah. So here you say, if you don't do this, you're going to incur sin. Yeah. So what will a person do? He's got all the arguments stacked against Arjuna. That is Sri Krishna. Now he's saying, you will. And that is what saying, if a person flees the battlefield, you can't really flee a battlefield, At the same time, when you're fighting, you should not fight unnecessarily. Like a person who was an opponent who was stopped for a drink of water, or his weapon has been broken, or he's tired or sitting down, and he begs forgiveness or is retreating, you cannot kill that person. You have, all these rules, there's a long list of this, In fact, after the evening, you couldn't fight in the night. After sundown, you couldn't fight. And after sundown, these warriors, they used to visit each other's camps. The enemy, that's not an enemy camp. What enemy camps? We had a kind of a contest. So they used to go to each other's camps and know how that, who's injured, who's... It was more test of heroism, test of strength, test of honor, a test of dignity. We've got to be honorable. So here he's saying, you'll better be careful. So you don't retreat. Never retreat. Advance. So we stop here. We've got 5 minutes for a few questions, but then I know you have some. I would suggest we keep on as the arguments are being laid down. You'll see the kind of a pattern, a sequence. So later on you'll find your questions being answered by the very verses that we are going to. So Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.